Floyd wasn't given a choice. Tamir Rice wasn't given a choice. Breonna Taylor did not have a choice, and Emmett Till was never given a chance.
That's right.
George Floyd! George Floyd!
We're spotlighting one California native who took matters of social injustice into her own hands. Mikiiya Foster is a young activist that grew up in the small town of Simi Valley just outside of Los Angeles. Due to the death of George Floyd and the racial injustices Black people face, Mikiiya felt discouraged by the lack of protesting in her area, so she decided to take action.
I had been seeing all the protests and everything going on, and I've been to a couple protests beforehand myself, but there's never really been a protest in Simi. So I was FaceTiming my friend, and I was like, you know what? We should have a protest in Simi. And so then a couple days after, I went to the Black Lives Matter protest in Pan Pacific Park in LA, and that also really just helped me stay motivated to do this, because after going there and just feeling the love in that crowd and the empowerment and motivation that came out of it, I was like, wow, okay, this really needs to happen in Simi. Because I think a lot of people kind of feel like Simi is a little bubble and aren't realizing how diverse we're becoming and growing. With my experiences often being the only Black person in the room, I thought it would be a really good chance to bring together the diversity that Simi has become and kind of just unify that.
Mikiiya also goes on to say how Councilmember Ruth Lavanos helped her get the ball rolling on the cause.
She helped me get in contact with a bunch of other community leaders from all over Ventura County. We had people from Camarillo, Oxnard, Simi, just all coming together to make this happen. They were really there to help me each step of the way, from coordinating what we call the peacemakers, which really helped keep the peace. They were able to dilute a lot of things that could have escalated, and then contacting the city officials and the police department to kind of let them know what was going to be going on.
However, when Mikiiya reached out to council members to invite them to the protest, not everyone had a welcoming response.
After Ruth had kind of come in and we had got our team together, they were telling me that, okay, maybe you should email all the other school board members, the council members, and the police chief to let them know what's going on. You can invite them to the rally. And I sent out a pretty generic email to all of them. And Mike Judge responded and basically just told me that I should call it off and that I wasn't going to like the response, basically saying that I had a perceived state of racism, like what I had experienced in Simi growing up as a Black woman wasn't real, and it was just kind of what I had perceived since the Rodney King trial, which was obviously not a great response to hear from a council member who's supposed to be there to support and uplift the community, and here you are coming to him as a community member asking for his support, and he just completely neglects that.
What happened next took Mikiiya completely by surprise.
He posted it on his Facebook, and he literally posted the whole email exchange with my first and last name, and people were saying they found my phone number and my address. There was somebody saying, you're gonna find out what an AR-15 looks like close up, and just crazy stuff like that. So I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're a council member. You should know better than to just do something like that. And at the end of the email, when I did receive his response, he did say, I will be posting this on my social media for transparency. And I think it was literally 5 minutes after he sent the email that he went and posted that. So one, he didn't ask for my consent to post that, and he didn't know my age. So I could have been a minor. Him posting that did kind of attract some not great people to my social media. And I was getting threats before, but I do think after he did post that, they did kind of increase a little bit. All I've said is I want to have a peaceful protest about human rights and how Black Lives Matter, and people are saying they're going to show up with AR-15s. This is the exact reason this needs to happen. But then one person commented, they said they found my phone number and my address, and then they had made a comment about how they had seen pictures of my family. And that was pretty much the only moment throughout the whole process where I was kind of okay, maybe I should rethink this, because I don't want my family to get hurt. If anyone gets hurt, I don't want it, that's going to be on me. But then my mom kind of sat down and talked with me, and she was like, if you think you really need to do this, we're going to stand by you the entire time. You don't have to worry about us. We got you.
Despite the criticism, Mikiiya was resilient and refused to allow this to discourage her from moving forward with the event.
When I originally started planning, I literally thought it would be me and 10 friends standing on that corner. But then once other community leaders started getting involved, we were like, all right, we'll estimate about 200, maybe 300 people, at the most 500. And then we start the march, and I walk out towards the sidewalk, and the street is just filled. And I'm like, what? Is this real? Is this happening? This is crazy. So that 200 people, I guess you add another zero, because people are saying there was probably about 2,000 people there, which is still insane to me. Like, I can't believe that all just started from like a little tweet that I put out when I was FaceTiming my friend.
It's no surprise that Mikiiya has become so outspoken. She comes from a long line of activists in her family.
My maternal grandparents, they were a part of CORE in the 60s, and we still have newspaper clippings from then, and there's like a picture of my grandma being arrested while they're just doing a peaceful sit-in. Growing up, I would hear stories of everything they had gone through, and my grandpa had even went to Selma, Alabama and marched with Martin Luther King while my grandma was pregnant. So just kind of looking back at that and everything that they had gone through, yet they still persevered, they stayed peaceful, they kept fighting. That really helped motivate me, because I was like, people yelling a couple harsh words at me or trying to threaten me online compared to everything that they had gone through, but they still kept going. That really helped me kind of put perspective on it.
The protest Mikiiya put together not only inspired, but also uplifted her community.
Just because of the things that I've experienced and people of color have experienced and see me, I couldn't believe how many people had actually come and showed out and believed in the same message that I believed in and wanted to stand up against the injustices against Black people. So I guess I was just super amazed and felt almost proud of my city for like once. And I think there was somebody who even said, like, this is the first time I've ever felt that Simi Valley like has felt like home. And I was like, wow, like you are so right. I've never felt this much support and love in Simi than in this moment.
She also goes on to explain that this is only the beginning.
Right when it was over, my mind was already turning, okay, what can we do next? There's so much motivation and so much movement right now. We need to do something with it to actually make change. I'm working right now on planning another protest on June 19th for Juneteenth in Simi. I've known since I was little that I was going to be in activism somehow. So I think this has really been a great opportunity for me to just kind of leap into that and start making connections so I can do more things like this in the future.